Item number 44, Councilman Stamps.
Thank you, Mr. President. Voting rights. Don't leave everybody. The show not over with yet. Voting rights is very important to us. We have several voting precincts in the city of Jackson that are being altered by the county. I forwarded everyone a copy of the voting precinct changes. There have been some deliberate actions that are taking place to move people's voting precincts. There's one precinct where folks are going to come to vote in November, and they're going to come to the same place they voted in August and not be able to vote because the county has moved these folks' voting precinct since the primary. And now these types of actions, they erode public confidence, they erode public trust in government. And we have a meeting tomorrow, and I ask everyone to be there. With erode public confidence, they erode public trust in government. And we have a meeting tomorrow, and I ask everyone to be there. Will the clerk please, what time is the meeting tomorrow? 10, where would it going to be held? Okay, at 10 o'clock over with Connie Cochran to discuss these matters. I would like for each council person to identify the voting precincts in your ward so that the city and county can get on one accord, and then we can in turn have folks come to vote at the same place, no matter when it's time to vote. We can solidify that you go vote at this location, whether it be a city, state, or federal election, so that we can build some consistency with our voting processes, and we should not be allowing or standing by, rather, while different levels of government build voter apathy. People have bled their life for the right to vote. There's a move being made to make it so that there are only 60 voting precincts in the whole county. They've already drawn it out. There's a map right now where there are people who are pushing for the county of Hinds County to have only 60 voting precincts. Now the city of Jackson has 99 voting precincts itself. Okay, and there's a move right now to make it so there's only 60 voting precincts in the whole county. And we have people going all over the place to try to vote. We should not be standing idly by while these actions are taking place. We should call these people to the carpet. And let the people know and make these folks account for what they are doing, because they are eroding the very thing that put me in this seat. And we should not be sitting idly by and let them do it. So I'm asking for the council colleagues to identify the areas that are in your ward where there are voting precincts for municipal elections, then turn around and see where the county's voting places are, and let's make these maps right. I would also like that we do, if we could at some point, take up redistricting, because the city of Jackson is thoroughly gerrymandered. It is gerrymandered to the core. There's no reason why Ward 4 should stretch from Northside Drive and Livingston Road all the way to Sywell and McClure, and it cuts out little divots and those types of things. There's no reason why Ward 7 should go all the way from almost Elton Road all the way to Meadowbrook. It's been gerrymandered to create a desired result, and I believe that when you're in charge, you should be in charge and not apologize for being in charge and doing what's in best interest of the city. And we shouldn't sit idly by and allow folks to manipulate the people that we've been elected to represent in a negative fashion. So I'd appreciate it, council colleagues, if you can make it to the meeting in the morning at 10, and even members from the administration, please do so. And if you could submit where you want your voting precincts to be, so that we can put these things in stone. And I'm also asking for the legal department and the policy analysts for the city to identify what legislation needs to be passed so that we can codify at both levels, at the city and the county, some legislation that will nail these voting precincts in the ground so folks just can't move them because they feel like moving them. And they can't service them. If we put it in an order and we get the city to pass it, and we march ourselves over to the Hinds County to get them to pass it, now these people's voting precinct will be set in stone, and that'll be the end of that. People said that we got to print too many ballots, it's a waste of money. Well, we waste money on all kinds of stuff. If it's going to cost $100,000 to wasted money to have a proper voting and abilities to vote, we need to codify all this stuff, and we should not stand idly by and allow people to do things that are negative to the people we represent.
Mr. President.
Councilman Stokes.
Mr. President, it really sounds like you're talking about changing these precincts and people trying to go vote and they can't vote. Then they ask for ID. A lot of people not voting now because of ID. You know, voting's supposed to be a fundamental principle of this country. It's supposed to be easy to vote. Now, here you have election commissioners deciding that they want people to be in long lines rather than letting people come and vote and go home. You know, how many people vote in the precinct, at least somebody voted. Now, when you close these precincts and force people to go to other precincts to stand in line, how many are going to go home? How many are going to decide not to vote? So, you know, I just think that what we need to do is when it's time to elect some election commissioners with some sincerity and sensitivity to the people. You know, it shouldn't be no such thing about, well, ain't enough people voting. You see these lines. Older people got to stand up to vote. Legs hurt, feet hurt, and everything else. Some voting precinct they go in, they can vote, they can go home. That's how voting's supposed to be. If it's not a lot of people voting, still keep it open. If one comes, that's enough. We want people to come and vote. Don't close the precincts down and make it difficult for people to vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Stamps.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd also like to just, look at some of these areas. 101 Near Street, merged, Ward 5. 1311 West Pearl Street, Ward 3. 5019 Clem Boulevard, Ward 4. 3200 Bailey Avenue, Ward 3. 1020 West McDowell Road, Ward 6. 3645 Metro Drive, Ward 5. 101 Near Street, Ward 5. 1296 Martin Luther King, I'm assuming that's Ward 3. 5841 Ridgewood, that's Ward 1, but I don't know what the effect there is. And 6339 Highway 18, Ward 4. 9 of these voting precincts are in areas, like my ward is 98.9% black. So, I mean, I think we all know what that says. And we shouldn't sit idly by and let folks move and merge voting precincts and not march across the street. That's why I want to delete those special meetings so that we can not be in meetings the same time as they having meetings. We need to be over there sitting in the room and signing up for public comments to champion, just like we shouldn't be having meetings at the same time that JPS is having meetings. I want to be able to go over there and push against those types of issues as well. So there are a lot of things that we can do. We can be more effective if we take a stand on and be for what we're for and against what we're against.
I want to thank you for bringing attention to that. That's a very important statement that you just made, and it's very important that we are working together on this front because I do think it has the potential to depress votes. All right.